Welcome back to part 2 of my my fifth Strixhaven draft. So we've had another interesting draft, let's say. We got Crackle with Power when we opened the third pack. Pick 1, and we were in white, green and black at that point. So we had to, I definitely wanted to play it, so I've wrangled a deck together, a 4-color deck together to try and incorporate it. So it's a bit iffy, a little bit iffy, but we do have a bit of help. We've got our main color is green, and we have an Emergent Sequence. We've also got 4 learn cards and an Environmental Sciences to give us a bit of fixing. I've just been figuring. If I can speak properly, we're figuring out the land base here. I think for 4-color decks, I tend to go for 18 land. And what I've just actually dropped a swamp for another forest. I want to be I want more consistency with my green mana. So I've got 8 green sources, and then for white is quite important. It's got 5. I've got 5 white sources. It's particularly important because I've got 2 study breaks, so that can bring up Environmental Sciences. So it's more important than black. Black is down to 4 sources, which may seem strange because I am using Lash of Malice, but I'm okay with that. I'll have to, I might just have to fetch up a swamp with a learn card, an Environmental Sciences, basically. I mean, and finally for the for red, we've got 3 sources. So we've got the 2 mountains that potentially we could fetch up by recasting Environmental Sciences. We've got a couple of different ways of bringing that back from the graveyard. So we've got Pillardrop Warden, can sacrifice for it, which is a bit of a that would be a bit of an emergency situation to do that. It could happen. We've got Reconstruct History, which we're kind of I've decided we're quite well set up for that because we've got 6 instants, 5 sorceries, and 11 creatures. So there's a good chance we can get 3 things back with that. 3 for 1 seems a good rate for that card. And we've got Biblioplex Assistant to put things back on top as well. So there's definitely a good chance to cast Environmental Sciences more than once. And so I think it's reasonable to run a couple of mountains and expect to cast Crackle with Power as a late game finisher. And there is one more option. We've got Accomplished Alchemist, who can add mana of any colour. If I were to gain, I'd have to gain 2 life points, wouldn't I? And then this guy can add 2 red, assuming I'm missing both red, let's say. So there's this bit of a life gain sub-theme going on. I think, we've got Overgrown Arch that can tap for a life. The Cram Session gives us 4 life, so that would be that's. It's a long shot, but that might just power up an alchemist at some point. And of course, the Witherbloom Pledgemage gives us a bit of life gain. There's not a huge amount of life gain, to be honest, in the deck, but there's potential there. I've had to make some quite tough decisions on what I cut from the deck. I've had to cut 1 Spiteful Squad. I thought I'll try out the card. I'll just run 1 copy. I've decided I had to cut Leyline Invocation. So that's I decided at the end of the day this is just a really big creature for 6 mana. It's not all that special, right? I was going 5 colours with Ether Helix very briefly, but I thought I'll mean, this is it's a bounce spell and it brings something back from your graveyard, but it only brings permanents back. So, whereas I'm more interested in bringing my spells back from the graveyard. So this kind of got swapped for Reconstruct History. What else? Yeah, we dropped a couple of 4-drop black creatures. So I decided Auric Law Mage is double black. We're gonna struggle to cast this guy. His ability is actually really interesting because we can pop an instant or sorcery from the library into the graveyard, so we can put Crackle with Power directly into the graveyard, and then bring it back with something, which could be pretty amazing. But just because he's too hard to cast, I don't think we can play him. And I've dropped another 4-drop Novice Dissector, who to be fair, he could be quite good in the deck. We've got pest tokens to sacrifice, but I don't think I think I just need all my 2-drops in the deck rather than my 4-drops. And I decided Lumimancer because it's 1 white and we're only running 5 planes. I'm unlikely to cast that on turn 1. And the Strict Proctor messes with, I think, Biblioplex Assistant and Spiteful Squad, so that just gets cut from the deck, unfortunately. So I think in fact I cut that first. Come to think of it. The good bit of news, my Despark is back. It for a while it was the green and black sacrifice spell where you get an amount of creatures equal to a number of pests equal to the creature's power, but that's it's turned back into Despark. And I decided I'm gonna I was close to cutting this. It doesn't help you much against aggro, but I think it's I've decided I'm going to keep it. It could help. It could help a bit against some of those big creatures. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm quite pleased with the name as well. Right. I think that's enough talking about the deck. Let's just get straight into it. Just double check things here. Yeah, everything's running fine. So yeah, basically it's 8 green sources, 5 white, 4 black, 3 red. Okay, so we got green, we got white and red. So that's a pretty good start. We've got Crackle with Power in the opening hand. That's not so good. We do have 1 creature, Study Break and Expel. So I think that's a good hand on balance. Play the tap land first, of course. So blue-red, Prismari Campus. Okay, yep, 3/3. That's a good start. I'm expecting that to swing in next turn. Scurrid Colony. I'll have a decision on whether I want to actually, of course, I can expel it and then Biblioplex that on top, which would be pretty good. Okay, interesting. He hasn't gone in yet. Now I can Study Break in his upkeep. I think that's the thing to do. interesting thing. Oh, that's gone. And he's now going to get rid of my other copy from the deck, which is a bit of a disaster. Nice. Okay. So, yeah, blue deck has counterspells, by the way. So it's the first time I've run into Test of Talents. I knew it was in the set, but so far Negate has been the one that's been causing me problems. You might have Negate mana up as well for the Expel. Yeah, he's seen my Expel now, so he might be thinking twice about attacking with this guy. He'll probably attack with the Pledgemage though. Six damage is a lot. So I think I'm not going to be blocking with Scurrid Colony, so I'm going to attack with it. And yeah, I think it's if he's got another counter spell, it's game over. That's fair enough. Interesting. So we can use that. We could just play a Witherbloom Pledgemage. Yeah, it does come into play tapped. This guy makes his spells cheaper, doesn't he? So I'm thinking I've got to put Expel on top of my deck, I think, as a priority. And I think on balance, am I going to play the Plains or just wait? I won't play the Plains because I want a 2/2 Emergent Sequence. I've decided, and I'm obviously not drawing a land next turn. So you'd sort of expect him to have some counterspell backup to save this guy, but it is draft. His next spell is going to be, so he can do a 7 mana thing. Yeah, he did. Got the 2 4/4s. Pretty brutal. So all I could do is double block, I guess, one of the 4/4s. So I'm thinking, or I play a Witherbloom Pledgemage. It's either Emergent Sequence and Expel on this guy. It's going to help stop the next 7 mana spell, I suppose. Yeah, tricky decision. I don't know what to do. I think we're going to find a mountain so we can cast Crackle with Power, because that seems cool to me. Wow, what's he got? Just draws a card. And he's got an opt to go with it. Oh my god. That's obscene. Okay, to double block one of these. Take 7. So yeah, we can't do x equals 2, unfortunately. We are 1 mana short. We are 1 mana short of x equals 2. So we could do 5 damage to the elemental. I don't think that's particularly good. We could do 5 damage to him to stop him drawing spells, but then we're getting hit. Then we have to sacrifice our mountain, basically, and then we can't cast Crackle with Power anymore. Or we play the 5/5 and we do some blocking. Yeah, that looks like the thing. I think just play the 5/5, hope it doesn't have any removal at all. We nearly did it. We nearly cast Crackle with Power. We could have cast it just for 5 damage on one target, but we just have to hope he's got nothing this turn somehow, but he's going to draw a million cards. So he's obviously going to have something, and he's got the best answer finding spell in this set. If I top deck a land, I've got x equals 2, which is quite good, but I'm probably dead this turn. It's interesting, I didn't draw any black cards. Yeah, he countered Study Break, didn't he, with Test of Talents, which was a bit brutal. But I could have expelled one of his guys instead on my turn, I think, yeah. He's got a Prismari Pledgemage in exile. Okay. It's not attacking. Interesting. Can we top deck a land? That's the question. We can't really... Oh my goodness, we top decked a land. I'm so happy. Right, X equals 2 then. Let's do it. X equals 2, right, is going to spend a total of 8 mana, right? That's how this works. And we'd love to target him, but with 10 damage, but this is kind of important. We die. I gain a life point as well, which is quite cool. Could be important. Well, if he takes out the Pledgemage with a spell, okay. He's gonna get another trigger off that. No attacks. He's refilled his hand, he's got 6 cards. I'd be amazed if I don't die this turn. Still, we got to cast the fun spell. But he got so much value out of this guy. Okay, it's a creature. It's a Pillardrop Warden. That's bad news, isn't it? That's gonna bring back this. We've got a couple more 4/4 creatures to deal with. We can't cast Blood Researcher. We never actually got that black mana. Oh, great. So I take a point of damage whenever I scry with this. Yeah, that's another nice rare. Okay, I don't think there's anything we can do. Yeah, he managed to cast that because he had the good uncommon Maelstrom Muse. Yeah. So he run into a pretty good Prismari deck. I think it's fair to say. Yeah. To be honest, I think we're scrying anyway, and we're taking the damage because it's going to be worth it if we can somehow stop this from happening. I don't think it's particularly likely. Pillardrop Warden blocks a 4/4. Sure. Pillardrop Warden brings back Crackle with power potentially as well. Also it brings back Study Break, Expel, Emergent Sequence. Okay, he's going to do that and copy it and get 4 4/4s, which is exactly what happened in the game last night. I had the same scenario, but I guess it's the Prismari endgame here. You get 16 power and toughness on the board because why not? Okay, let's block here and block here. There's an argument I could scry in my upkeep, but it takes out 5 mana. If I do sack this for Crackle with power, then, well, I don't get to do much with it, do I? 2 red plus 4, yeah, I get to do 5 damage to one thing. Which isn't quite enough. But just the current situation, right? He's swinging with all of the, probably everything, right? And I block some of it. I think actually I could tap and get Study Break. That would potentially work, right? If he doesn't have a counter spell, I can actually take out 2 of his creatures. Study Break. Let's go for it. That's block damage. I'm just going to see if we can survive another turn. I think that'll be a victory if I can do that. I gained a life point as well. Nice. Okay, so Pest Summoning also kind of gives me another turn. Get to block a couple of things. But we're still kind of dead, aren't we? Because he's going to attack with that. If he casts a spell. Right. Now if we activate any ability that isn't a mana ability. Oh, that was the, yeah, his ability wasn't a mana ability, so that's why we took a point of damage. I'm just thinking, yeah, I'll be on 1. But I'll still have another blocker up. Yeah, I'm gonna let 4 damage through. What's the worst that could happen? Ah, he had Infuriate. Wow, of course. Nice. Oh, that'll do it. So yeah, I could have survived had I double blocked, because it doesn't give trample. But I'm kind of satisfied. I got to cast an X equals 2 Crackle with power. I feel like I lost to a rare. Well, I lost to the good uncommons as well, I think. I don't think I changed my deck. I think, yeah, there's the one black card we couldn't cast, but it's because we went all in on Crackle with power. Yeah, that test of talents on Study Break was brutal. Right, good news. We've got a Cram Session. We've got green and white. We should be able to get a turn 4 Master Symmetrist, or Accomplished Alchemist. Yeah, and this learns or just gains life. So that's pretty cool. start with the Arch. There is this line where we hold Cram Session until this guy's out, and then we use it and tap him for 4 mana. If we don't hit a 4th land drop, we have to Cram Session, I would say. Hey, we hit a 4th land drop. This gives me options. But then I don't have anything to do on this turn that's particularly useful. I think, yeah, we're going to do a Cram Session to just to use up our mana and get Environmental Sciences. Sedgemoor Witch has Menace, Ward 3 life. Whenever you cast a copy of an instant sorcery soul, you get a 1/1 pest. Oh, that's really good. Okay, let's gain a point of life. Just thinking about my turn, my play next turn. I could Environmental Sciences now, make sure I've got the land. I could Alchemist, and then I get quite a lot of mana next turn, potentially. Or I could Symmetrist because it's the biggest creature. I'm going to Alchemist. And do we double block the Sedgemoor Witch, or are we scared about what he can do? Give it Death Touch, kill both. It's definitely a green and black combat trick, the Death Touch one. So I think we let it through. Looks like he's thinking about blowing this guy up anyway. Oh, okay, Needlethorn Drake. Right, now what's happened there? Decisive Denial. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So he's going to Death Touch that to death. Ouch. Well, I guess that's good that he's using that on a wall. I'll gain a life point from it. Right. So if I've got this right, we can gain 2 life. There. He can tap for 2 mana. We can play an untapped land and have 5 mana to play a Pledgemage. Or we can just play a Pledgemage and a Quandrix Campus. Yes, let's just play the Pledgemage. Like that. And the Campus. Mathematician, right, he's got a lot of stuff. Right, Sedgemoor Witch is going to keep making loads of creatures. I might pay 3 life and exile that now. I kind of like casting Environmental Sciences now, but I don't know if we want a mountain or a swamp yet. That's the trouble. I guess we've got Study Break. Oh no, we only got one Environmental Sciences to find. That's the trouble. So just make a judgment call and go for a swamp, I think. That should give me 7 mana to play with, so I can probably play the Symmetrist and Expel this guy. So yeah, let's Expel that thing. Yes. Has he got... Oh, you can tend the pests and make even more creatures. Okay. I thought he was going to save it for a second. And we will Master Symmetrist as well. And he's got 5/5 worth of creatures, so no attacks. Okay, but we've got a campus, which is pretty good. You've got the campus. Oh no, he's got a campus as well. Yeah, fair enough. We're equal on campuses. And we've got this guy to make red mana if we do need it. And I could hold on to the plains. So let's just check. We need 5 lands for this and 2 for the Study Break. So I will play the plains. So yeah, I think we won't. We don't attack. We'll end the turn. Yeah, and we'll do that on his upkeep. No, we won't do that on this upkeep. We're quite happy if he attacks with a Needlethorn Drake. Jeez, okay. That's a little bit problematic. Okay, Study Break on that. And that. Could make something a bit bigger, or we could just get rid of the humongous creature. It isn't anything helpful like an artifact, you see. I mean, I make my creature a 7/7 as well, but I think I'm going for this one. He'll draw a card, but fair enough. And I'm going to scry as well. Adventurous Impulse. It could whiff, couldn't it? But I think it's a good card, and it. Okay. Right, and I think I will Adventurous Impulse as well. Might whiff, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, another swamp, sure. Yeah, we can't make enough to scry. My guess is he can't handle my sheer number of creatures. He can kill one of them, but I think it's time to swing in. So right, he definitely wants to kill the reach creature. Fair enough. He's probably got a big flyer coming in then. Well, I suppose. Just thinking, I am going to play out my lands if I somehow want to cast Crackle with Power a bit later. So perhaps that was a questionable attack. Right. Now we know that there's a +3/+3 combat trick card. I think I'm going to scry first and just see what's coming up. If the worst happens. Okay, that goes to the bottom. But I think so even if I block with both, I'll do 7 damage. If I do 7 damage, so that would kill it even through a big play. So I think that's what we've got to do. Decisive Denial. Ah, okay. Interesting. Now what? And they try it trade off. Okay. Buy Mathematician, that becomes, I guess, a 2/2 and a 1/1. Okay. Getting out creatured here quite significantly. It's a swarm. And he's 3 colours as well. Do I trade off Blood Researcher? I think not. I think, well, we'll scry like that. And see. Interesting, because how much mana have we got? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we keep that, because then we can double scry. No blocks. Right. Pop that out. Next. No attacks. End turn. Oh wow, this is pretty good, isn't it? Does he get to draw 3 then? Yeah, sweet. Nice. Cram Session. Just even more cards. At this point, if he's got that... Okay, well, I'm going to scry and see what we've got. Another campus, but it's also a red mana source, but we have to get rid of it. We'll just trade off. Actually, it's always better to kill the fractal. And we should be dead next turn. Got an Emergent Sequence. It makes a tap land, doesn't it? Oh, I could have made it a 2-2. I missed a trick. Yeah, I think this is... I had a feeling this could be a 0-3 deck. And I think it's being borne out. It's just not going to stand up to these swarm aggressive decks. Let's see, what was on top of my deck? Spiteful Squad. Yeah, would have been useful earlier. This is what happens when you only have 11 creatures in your deck, I think. You can get really just completely swarmed. And he had removal as well on top of that. He had removal for it seemed like for all my creatures. I threw away one of my creatures in a probably a pointless attack, to be honest. I thought, I've got big creatures, I should be pushing this guy around, but yeah, I probably had to hold back, and it would have given me a few more turns. I'd have kept my Master Symmetrist. I mean, with 0-2, I don't think there's an emergency change I can make to the deck. I mean, I guess we've cast Crackle with Power. We could drop all the red to try and get some consistency. So we'd drop 3 cards. I guess what would come in? Novice Dissector, Auric Law Mage, Spiteful Squad. Because we've cast the Crackle with Power. We could say, right, that's done. We haven't cast Reconstruct History yet. To be fair, yeah, we've given Crackle with Power a shot. Maybe we'll do the emergency 0-2 adaptation and go down from 4 colours to 3. Just drop red. I think it's probably a bit too ambitious trying to go for a double red card. And we have cast it at least, so we've given it a shot. We're just going to see if we can get 1 win now. Do we want to keep a mountain potentially for start from scratch? That's the question. So we just put Novice Dissector, Auric Law Mage, and Spiteful Squad in. I don't think, you know what, this doesn't, nah, this isn't the way. These cards do not fill me with hope, to be honest. I don't think they're gonna cut it. Let's find our mountains. Yeah, the mountains are going back in. Yeah. No, we have to do it. And we haven't cast Reconstruct History yet. That's one of my key cards. We're gonna... Yeah. You have to rename the deck if we take Crackle with Power out. We're committed. We're committed. Come on, let's go. Just make sure I've done that properly. Should have 3 red sources, yeah, and 3 red cards. Yeah. We haven't drawn Lash with Malice yet, as well. I know. But that often happens. It's only small sample size, isn't it? It's only two games to go on. But I think this is going to be the quickest 0-3 I've had. But we're gonna swing for the fences. We'll keep Crackle with power in the deck. That last time, very aggressive. He used a fight card with his Needlethorn Drake to take out my wall. Very impressive. Right, we've got green and white. We don't have black. We can cast a removal spell. We can probably draw a land by turn 4 to get our Master Symmetrist. So we'll keep that. Will we have to expel? Oh, we've got black mana. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. Do we expel the Star Pupil before he plays another creature? I think, yeah, when he's because if I play Blood Researcher, he just plays another creature and attacks for 2. I would just expel him. I could play that, or I could play the Master Symmetrist as a blocker. Just block it. What have you got? Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's gonna trade off. Has he got another one? He's got another one. Nice. You never suspect the double beaming defiance. I can play Biblioplex Assistant as a blocker and put Expel on top of my deck. Yes. Let's do it. Means I don't get my 5th land drop for another, at least one more card. Okay, now he's got 3/3. Fair enough. Alright, we can make a 2/5 creature. Let's go for it. Yeah, he's got a lot of flyers. He did not attack because he knows I've got Expel in my hand. I can play out some creatures. The more creatures, the better, actually, when I've got Study Break. could just attack with Reckless Amplimancer and just threaten to buff him. I think that's quite good. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll just let him get through. We won't buff him. And yeah, the problem with Sturdy Break, it costs us 3 life to do Sturdy Break. Is it still worth it to do that? He takes 4 more damage, potentially. But I get to grow Blood Researcher from my environmental sciences, so I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. And we're going to get environmental sciences. Okay, 2/2. And let's just expel this guy. Pay 6 life to tap him and then expel him. Worth it. Worth it, I think.